Without even knowing it, you've been creating this vibrational reality. It's the vibrational version that precedes the manifested version. And we explain to you that the source within you is collecting and becoming all that you are asking for. And then you say, well, if that's true, then why is my life not improving? And we say, for one very easy to understand reason. You're launching the rockets by knowing what you don't want, but then you're not practicing the vibration of what you do want often. Instead, you're beating the drum of justification of why you want the improvement. And that's that efforting factor that we're talking about that is not serving you. You're trying so hard to get what you want by pointing out that this isn't fair and this is unjust. In other words, as you feel the unfairness and then you stand in the justification, because there's a part of you that knows, you innately understand that you are supposed to be winning. You are supposed to be feeling good. And when you're not, you understand that there's something wrong. And then you go about trying to explain why it's wrong and how long it's been wrong and what's really wrong about it and how others agree with you that it is wrong. So you continue to practice the vibration, a frequency that disallows what you want. So in order to help you bridge that gap between who you've become and who you're allowing yourself to be, we are offering a series of analogies. We wanted you first to understand that there is a vibrational version of you that you have access to, but you have to practice yourself into alignment with it. And on some subjects, that's easy for you to do because you've been practicing it, and on other subjects, it's more difficult for you to do. So then we began explaining to you, yes, there is the non-physical version of you, which you are contributing to constantly. This is just not the non-physical part of you that was before you were born that now you're trying to catch up with. This is the non-physical part of you that has been expanding and evolving as a result of the life that you're living here in this physical body. So this vibrational version, this vortex version of you exists. It is a reality that you have access to, but you've got to find the frequency. Just like you've got to broadcast and receive with your transmitting mechanisms. You can't set your radio dial on 101 AM and receive what's being broadcast on 97 FM. You have to be on the frequency that the broadcast is coming from. So this vortex version of you is broadcasting this prosperous vibration of well-being, of alignment, of co-creation, of rendezvousing with all good things. The question is, are you on that frequency? And the answer is, if you feel good, yes. If you feel bad, no. Positive emotion means you're on the frequency or moving in on it, and negative emotion means that you're not. We began talking to you about your point of attraction. And it seemed like a good way to describe it. It's like a grid that will be filled in later with the manifestations. It's like a framework. It's like the frame of a building that starts out sort of scanty. You can sort of kind of tell what it's going to be like, but all of the textures and fabrics and details are going to come later. You're going to choose them as you go along, and you're going to fill it out and flesh it out with all of the magnificent, delicious details. So you have this point of attraction, this grid. If you've been following us for a while, we've been talking to you about your emotions and what they mean. You heard us say that negative emotion means you've got a vibration going on that you're not up to speed with. And that positive emotion means you've got a vibration going on in your vortex that you are up to speed with. So today we want you to contemplate that these emotions, which go all the way from appreciation and love and ecstasy, passion, fulfillment, love, that feeling of invincibility, that feeling of eagerness for life, you know how that feels, all the way down to despair, to a feeling of fear, to a feeling of disempowerment, to a feeling that they don't want me to win, that feeling of having no control of your life. And of course, there's every imaginable emotional word or feeling in between all of that. So now we want you to realize that you are a vibrational being and that you've got a momentum going. So we'd like you to envision this spinning disc, this pure, positive energy disc, this high-flying, good-feeling point of attraction that somehow, some way, you've managed to get on. And we want to say to you, it's pretty easy first thing in the day before something happens, before you read your email, or before you see another person who is irritating, or before you start remembering what went wrong yesterday. In other words, you can get on that high-flying disc pretty easily because you wake up there. And if you don't do that thing you usually do that causes you to choose a lower disc, then there you fly for a little while. And we want you to just speculate the kinds of magnificent things that you have incrementally put into your vortex of creation that will now flow seamlessly, effortlessly, quickly through the path of least resistance into your spinning grid, into that high-flying, good-feeling grid. So we've been talking to you about law of attraction for a very long time, haven't we? And many people are beginning to understand it. Many are misunderstanding it. But we want you to understand that law of attraction is responding to the vibration of that which is you. We also want you to understand that you've got two vibrational things going on at any point in time, because you were source energy before you came into this physical body, and even though you were born into this body, that larger part of you still exists. It is a vibrational you. It's a vibrational, co-creative you. And it's pure positive energy. So here you are in your physical body, sifting and sorting, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, all day, every day, have been for a very long time, launching preferences, clear preferences of what you prefer. And each one of these vibrational launchings is received by the larger part of you. In other words, vibrationally speaking, the source within you is evolving and expanding as a result of the life that you're living here in this physical body. When you see someone hungry, you want more food for your planet. When someone is rude to you, you want nicer people in your life and in the lives of others. In other words, you are constantly expanding and improving through the life that you are living. And the source within you is taking that expansion immediately. Esther's been having a lot of fun with this visual because she's discovered that if she cares about getting on it, she most always does. And if she cares about staying on it, then she's mindful of the 17-second scenarios that might take her from it. And she's also become really good about, if she's falling and the momentum is strong, don't beat up on Esther about it. Don't beat up on yourself. Just take the fall and set forth the intention that tomorrow you're going to get back on it. So if every morning you decide you're going to get on it, first couple of days, you probably won't make it to breakfast before something takes you from it. But eventually, it's where the momentum of that which is you feels most natural. It's just pretty easy to stay there. Especially when you realize that by staying general, you don't challenge it, you don't risk anything. And that if you do fall off, it's no big deal. You can get back on it tomorrow. So last week, Esther announced to us, Abraham, I refuse to accept that I have to wait till tomorrow morning to get back on the disc. Because I like being on it so much. And I'm clearly not on it right now, for all of the obvious reasons, because you saw what happened. It was wrong what they said, what they did, how it turned out. Wrong, 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 wrong. But I refuse to accept that I have to wait clear until tomorrow morning to get back on it. I'm going to meditate and clear my mind. I'm going to find some way of distracting myself. I'm going to find a way of slowing the momentum of unwanted things while I speed the momentum of wanted things. And this is the last piece that we want you to hear from us. Make no effort at slowing negative momentum, because it just speeds it. Because this is a universe of inclusion. There's no exclusion. It's all about attraction. So when you're not going to think about that thing that you're thinking about, then you're thinking about that thing you're not going to think about. And as you're thinking about that thing you're not going to think about, you're thinking about that thing you're not going to think about. And the momentum is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And you're feeling worse and worse and worse and getting all animated about the injustice of what you're feeling. They just don't want me to win, you exclaim. And we want you to understand that it's all about what you're doing. And when it doesn't feel good, just lay as low as you can lay, as fast as you can do it. So rather than trying to stop negative momentum, your work, this is your assignment for the rest of your life. We never give homework, but today we're going to. Find ways to get positive momentum going. That's it. That's your work. Get on the disc. Stay there as long as you can. If you fall off, no big deal. Get back on as quickly as you can, until what will begin to happen is you'll have enough positive momentum that you'll begin feeling what the true power of influence is that we've been talking about. If you're having a no good, very bad day, Esther will say, clearly, I'm on the ornery disc. And I can tell I'm on there because there's ornery people all around me. Or I'm on the defensive disc. And your tendency, Esther's too, is to want to blame the other ornery people. Because if they weren't there with her and being ornery, she'd feel a lot better. But we want her and all of you to understand, she met them there. She met them there. It's like going to the ornery meeting. Where's the ornery meeting? Where's the ornery meeting? I want to meet new ornery friends. I'd like to be flipped off by different people in traffic today than usual. So when you begin to accept that you chose the disc and that they just met you there, it sort of takes the sting out of what they're doing, what it feels like they're doing to you, especially when you begin to accept that you have the choice of what disc you're on. And today, we think you understand it more clearly than ever before. That you have a choice of what disc you get on, and the earlier you choose it, the better chance you have of choosing the one you mean to choose. And eventually, and we're talking about a matter of a few days and weeks, you're going to predominantly be there. And when you start hanging out in that high-flying, good-feeling vibration, and you not only have the benefit of feeling good and breathing more deeply and feeling that fantastic feeling of eagerness coursing through you, but you also then begin to realize the benefit of the wonderful ideas that are flowing to you and the really good timing you have and the rendezvousing with all kinds of wonderful things. And the evidence of your disc is all around you. No matter what disc it is, the evidence of it is all around you. Then you'll begin to understand the invincible you. You'll begin to understand that you are the creator of your own reality. You'll begin to understand you always have been and you always will be, but you'll begin to exercise more deliberate control. And you'll find yourself not spending all of that time, how much time you can spend, trying to explain something to somebody who's not on your disc. Have you ever been flying high and somebody else isn't, and you're trying to explain to them? They don't get it, do they? So you just crawl right down on their disc with them so that they can understand it, and then, are you ever mad at them that you're down there on that disc with them? You'll get so much time back because you begin to understand that it's not a language barrier. It's not a cultural barrier. It's a vibrational barrier. Stop trying to explain stuff to people that they have no way of understanding. Instead, pick your disc, rendezvous with those that do understand, and have a really good time. So then, as we've watched you, we've been calling this gathering the art of allowing for a number of years because it's all about you figuring out how to allow that alignment. You figuring out how to hold a frequency consistently enough that you own it, that you know it, that you are it, that you be it. To establish a point of attraction with enough consistency that you allow momentum. Did you get that? Enough consistency that you allow momentum. Because when you say, I want it, but there's no momentum, I would like that, but you see, it's been hard for me. I want that, but my life's been very difficult for a very long time. Let me tell you the ways in which it has been difficult. And we say, stop talking about the ways in which it has been difficult because you're killing the momentum of the desire that you just gave birth to. You gave birth to it and didn't allow it to get going. You give birth to it and don't allow it to get going. But imagine if you give birth to it and allow it to get going. If you give birth to it and allow it to get going. If you identify a new desire and are general enough in your conversation.